And today we are looking at opportunities in rapid technological advances, the role of computer science in modern societies. Now, back then in November 8th, it was National STEM Day. STEM is an umbrella or term that groups the related but distinct technical disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And now, as Uganda embarks on a journey to use STEM for a brighter future, we track the progress and benefits of this wonderful arena as we speak to Simon Bruno Ssenyange, the Executive Director of Holistic Inclusive Aviation Africa, a STEM speaker and space analyst. Mr. Bruno Ssenyange, good morning.
Good morning to you. Thank you for hosting me, and good morning, viewers. I'm happy to be here.
Good to have you here today. Well, Holistic Inclusive Aviation Africa, what is the company about? What is the organization about?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
For starters, Holistic Inclusive Aviation Africa is an organization basically formed to shape the future of the aviation industry in Uganda and Africa at large, focusing on advocating for the rights of the persons with disabilities in the aviation and STEM industry, using an all-inclusive policy and initiative to curb that effectiveness of not focusing on the person with disabilities. I can take an example.
Yes.
I myself, it was one day I was at Entebbe Airport, and I realized that there is a gap which has to be improved in what? Bringing in that assistive technologies which can help to adapt the way of helping the person with disabilities in the aviation industry. And also I was once in Tanzania, I saw that gap. Basically, I looked at the future of focusing at Africa at large, starting with Uganda, where I come from, because I'm a patriotic.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? So I see, what do they call these that are on your shoulder?
Actually, you can call it epaulets.
Okay.
Others can call them the stripes or the bars. Yeah, the
all
options.
Right. I usually see these on pilots. Are you a pilot?
Wow, that's a good question. But for viewers to understand, pilots, there are many kinds of pilots, whereby we have those who fly and those who focus on ground operations. Basically, you can call them ground pilots, and I am one of them.
All right. So I know that you are a STEM speaker, and just to remind the viewers who have just joined us, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. You are a STEM speaker. November, we are celebrating STEM as an arena, and on November 8th, it was National STEM Day. Why is STEM important in Uganda?
Okay. Now, the acronym STEM, to help the viewers, first it stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But because the world is moving and updating, so they come up with different theories, whereby now, when you go to Europe, now they are calling it STEAM.
STEAM?
Yeah, with arts inclusive. But the more the world is growing, now they also add the design, calling it STEMmed.
Okay. Science, technology,
engineering, arts, and mathematics design. But to answer your question of STEM, we are focusing on STEM today. STEM education was formed around 2001 in the US due to the lack of qualified graduates in US, focusing on science basically. So they wanted to improve the state of science in the US, which US will be a model to other countries to see how STEM education is being promoted. So basically, with STEM education, it can improve the quality of life of an African child in Uganda, where we are focusing today, whereby a child may dream big to become a future pilot, to become a computer scientist, of which it will help him or her to eradicate poverty in the families they are coming through, depending on living in urban or rural areas.
Interesting. Now, you've talked about careers. When you look at science, technology, engineering, these are things that are shaping up our economy and the way we operate. How is Uganda as a country coping up with the trend and positioning ourselves in a place where STEM is working for us, but also we are gaining from it?
Okay. That's a good question. You know, they say good questions inform and good questions
indeed
transform. And I believe this will transform many Ugandans watching live on NTV. Well, Uganda, the way it's coping up with the trend of STEM education, we have had a couple of STEM boot camps which occur in Uganda. Take an example, the Uganda Flying Lab, they've organized the boot camps whereby focusing on drones and robotics to improve on the critical thinking and problem solving of young talents, basically, because STEM majorly focuses on young talents, basically, because they are the future generations. So they come up with real problem solving opportunities which they can discover, which can help in the terms of nation building of the country.
Yeah.
And also STEM festivals. I can take an instance. Chambogo, there's always a STEM festival which takes place, and also there's also a national STEM and robotics festival which is going to take place at National ICT Hub in Nakawa, organized by Vex Robotics and young engineers. So a couple of schools are going to be there, and also lovers of science and math are going to be there to learn how STEM education can improve on their lives and also improve on the economy of Uganda. Yeah.
So are there policies that are in place to encourage the development and the evolution as we go in? Because modernization is happening at a high speed. We don't want to find ourselves in a position where we can't catch up, or we are playing catch up. Are there policies that are in place for this?
Well, I'm not a politician, but let me answer that.
Yeah.
We have seen policies, basically. I can give an example like the National Industrialization Policy, which it was passed around 2008. And also we have seen the National Science, Technology and Innovation Policy, STI, passed around 2009, and now it was being implemented and is being running out, because we have the Science, Technology and Innovation entity in Uganda, and the ministry also was being developed through that policy. If it wasn't that policy, we wouldn't have the Ministry of Science and Technology.
Indeed.
So they have been running the activities of science and technology in Uganda. You can take an example. They launched the space satellites in Uganda, the Pulse satellites in Uganda, and they also took Ugandans to go and study space. So that also came up through the policy which was passed. And also there was also the national planning strategy also around 2010 it was passed. There was also the National Agricultural Strategy and Development Policy, and many others. But basically, we have had numerous policies which have been passed, but to tell the viewers that those policies, they have been passed, but they help to have a conducive environment for people to learn and interact, so that people who deal in the private and public businesses and civil society, they can implement them, like the way we are doing at Holistic Inclusive Aviation Africa. Organizations like Young Engineers, you may excuse me of mentioning, but just for viewers to understand.
Of course, definitely.
Yeah. That's it.
All right. So, Mr. Ssenyange, What are some of the activities that have been happening under HIA and probably other partners under celebrating STEM this November?
For your information, I will just make a disclaimer. Yeah. With HIA, we have had numerous activities which have been taking place, of inspiring the next generation, basically, moving into schools, giving hope to them that they can also become future engineers and pilots. So we've been running a school campaign, for your information, and also we have been running through our activity, which besides STEM, but it's all about technology, and it's a concept called assistive technology, whereby we come up with resolutions how we can improve on the rights of the person with disabilities, making a survey on one-on-one disabled people, getting to know the challenges they are facing, and also what problems can we come up to improve. And I can take an instance. For now, we are developing an app designed by our coordinator in Ghana, an app for persons with disabilities. It's of sign language to help them when they are at the airport to trace different signages and symbols in the airport. Yeah.
What else?
That, I think, is something we are trying to forge and contribute.
Which is a wonderful, I think, innovation, because at the end of the day, I think sometimes particular institutions actually neglect to put in place structures that do assist people with disability. But furthermore, there is an event that you and I talked about during the break that is happening on the 29th, is it?
Yes.
Please tell us more about that.
Well, I'm not a spokesperson for the event.
Of course, but for the viewers, yes, and the STEM lovers.
Since I'm a STEM speaker,
Indeed.
I can speak about it, because that event will take place in 29th of November, because we're in Science Month at National ICT Hub Nakawa, and the theme is "The future is now, empowering the next generation of innovators in Uganda," whereby a couple of schools will be attending here to discover, learn, and witness the magic and the power of STEM education.
Wow. Well, if you have just joined us, we are exploring the importance of STEM, opportunities in the rapid technological advancements that are happening in this century, and the role of computer science in modern societies. Now, STEM is an acronym of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I'm with a wonderful guest, Mr. Bruno Ssenyange, who is an executive director of HIA Africa and a STEM speaker. Now, Mr. Ssenyange, for the viewers who have been following us, I want us to go into a deep dive of STEM as an acronym. Let's start with science, because while I was in high school back then, a few years ago, they used to tell us, encourage us, even teachers, try to do sciences, try to do this, Was that also part of a STEM initiative to promote the arena, the fields in education?
Yeah.
Or are you not aware of that?
Because science is part of STEM. So they were doing it in the name of STEM, but though STEM wasn't yet adapted in Uganda as a concept, but now it is there. We have had numerous organizations which are being pushing it up. But for that, trainings have been done by government, like especially the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, pushing for science teachers to go for training in STEM education so that it can help them to handle students in order to improve science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, which is also a problem to many young Ugandans. So that to me is something which is being done, and it was being done past and present, and the future, here we are.
So in Uganda today, under science, as you have mentioned a bit, they're encouraging the teaching of science subjects in schools. How about in the working field? How is STEM being promoted? Is it required to be promoted there?
Yes, in the working field, because STEM has to be promoted everywhere.
Yeah. So how is
like
it being
I started
promoted?
An all-inclusive process.
Yeah.
A number of workers know nothing about a computer, but we have heard and we have seen it, companies coming up with such initiatives like the Coca-Cola beverages, Uganda, coming up with a STEM campaign of promoting STEM education in women who are working in their company, so that they can take up leadership roles in STEM. And also the Ministry of ICT coming up with programs of ICT, like donating computers to companies, and also trainings in different government companies, so that it can help to leverage and advance science, technology, and engineering, and mathematics. Yeah.
And technology, AI is a phenomenon that is happening for the past few years now. How do you think Uganda should prepare, or are we even equipped to use this opportunity to advance our economy, our education, health, and all other sectors?
Well, that's a good question, and more of technology.
Yeah.
But I'm not a labor scholar. But as someone who is in the STEM space, I think they would do a role of strengthening the digital monitoring of working activities in algorithm management systems, whereby you can take an example that countries which are lacking more resources, more knowledge about STEM education, they should learn from STEM powerhouse countries like the US or Spain. With Spain, they came up with a handbook for collective bargaining system for algorithm, which helps in mobilizing and addressing the challenges in the AI workspace. So I think that contributes to that.
Should we be worried about the advancement of such technologies?
To me,
because you are pushing for STEM, but someone else would be worried that AI is going to replace them in terms of labor, because we are going to see a turnover where certain employees are redundant. Should we be worried?
You shouldn't be worried, because we're here to create hope, because I'm also an activist. But to answer that, it's a win-win solution for work balance, because you also need AI, and we also need workers and labor unions to advocate for that, because there is a need of emphasizing that more working activities are in order, and also AI won't replace every job. I know there is of career replacements whereby they say AI will replace everything in the world, but AI won't replace everything, because with AI they also need the workforce of people, because the people provide that human judgment and decision making, and of which AI won't replace everything. So I think it's a win-win solution whereby we need to put in all that. I can give you an example. President Joe Biden made an executive order on AI, saying that to improve workforce and industries, there has to be workers sit at the table to find a way they can also work and fit in the workspace industry. Indeed. Together with AI.
Mr. Ssenyange, as we wrap up this conversation, what is the future of STEM in Uganda?
The future of STEM. Okay. The future of STEM, to me, I think we need to integrate a circular economy concept to be brought into STEM. I can give an example whereby you can bring the older into a new life through repairing, refining, reusing into a new life. Giving an example, like at Holistic Inclusive Aviation Africa, we have projects whereby we go to inspire the next generation, where we come up with aircraft models made out of plastics, but to promote the ingenuity and home-built aircraft, and also to show the latest developments in the aircraft development. All that improve and promote the STEM education in Uganda.
Mr. Ssenyange, thank you so much for talking to us and being here. I hope to learn more about STEM in the future. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Well, you has been watching us. We've been talking about the role of computer science in modern societies. And a reminder, if you want to be part of the conversation and add more of your thoughts, go to our social media platforms. That is Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Look out for NTV Uganda and use the hashtag #morning@NTV. Right about now, we are taking a break, but do not go away. We have an interesting guest coming up here on Morning at NTV.